Hi everybody, welcome to Mechanics of Materials. I wanted to get this video recorded and make it available to you before the start of our class. Class starts officially on August 21st, and today is August 16th of 2009. And since this is a fully online class, all of the material will be available to you through our Moodle site. Now, I've had almost everybody in this class as a student before, and most of you are here in Powell. But whether you're in Powell or not, I'm always available to help you, even though we don't have a face-to-face scheduled class meeting. So the most important thing I want to let you know is when you need help, make sure that you get a hold of me, whether it's coming to my office, or if you're here in Powell catching me after another class, or sending me an email and we can work together. So for example, I have a Zoom account, and we can basically, if you're not in the area, we can talk via the internet with full video capabilities and audio capabilities, so we can do homework together or whatever help you need. So just make sure that you reach out. Because it is an internet class, if you're shy, you may not get the attention that you need. So just make sure that you reach out to me and I will be available to you. So the first thing I want to do today is to make sure that you're able to access our class and then show you sort of what class procedures are like and go over the syllabus. And this will constitute the lecture for our first day of class. So as you can see, I've accessed the my.nvc.edu, and yours is going to look a little bit different because, of course, yours is a student portal and mine's a faculty portal, but the elements are still the same. Over here on the right will be the Moodle logo, and underneath the Moodle logo will be all of the classes that you are taking this semester. So this class, of course, is Mechanics of Materials. So to access that page, you just click on that and it's available to you. So the first thing I want to do is to just touch on the syllabus. So some of the things, first of all, these are just some ways to get a hold of me. The best way to get a hold of me is via email. So I'm available. I check my email several times a day, so make sure that you get a hold of me. Leaving a phone message is not so great because, first of all, our phone system is a little wonky, but also I just don't pick up my phone messages very often. So the prerequisite for this class is statics, or if you have had physics and sufficient math, that will work as well. So if you have any questions as to whether you have the correct prerequisites, please let me know. I also do a review. The first section of this is a review of the pieces of statics that we're going to have to go over immediately. So you'll see that the first homework assignment and the first few lectures are about the subject matter of statics. So you'll get a quick review if you're not overly familiar with that or if it's been a while since you've taken it. So basically, the next section we have a description and outcomes. And if I were to describe Mechanics of Materials, what I would say is that it's like statics taken to a different level. In statics, we look at the outside behavior of rigid bodies, and we assume that they're not really deforming, that they're not breaking, that they bear any sort of a load that we apply to them. In Mechanics of Materials, we investigate that a little bit further, how big something has to be, how thick something has to be, what kind of materials it has to be made of. And so we analyze the loads from an internal point of view, which is called stress. So we break up stress into a stress that's perpendicular to a surface, which is called normal stress, and a stress that's parallel to a surface, which is called shearing stress. And then we look at the deformations that go along with that as well. Now the book that we'll use in here is Mechanics of Materials, published by Beer and Johnson, and you can use either the 6th or the 7th edition. So when I write a homework set, if there are any, sometimes if you're using the 6th edition, your homework will be a little different than if you're using the 7th, but it doesn't matter. It will equally well prepare you for the exams. So either of those will be fine. As far as assessment for this class, the letter grade is comprised 20% of your homework, 40% for your proctored midterm, and 40% for your proctored final. Now, if you're here in Powell and you want me to proctor your exam, that's generally speaking the easiest. So we can set a time when you have a 2-hour time block and I have a 2-hour time block, and I will work with you. If not, I can proctor you online, which works very well also. But when we take those 3 elements, if you make 90 to 100%, you'll get an A. 80 to 90 will be a B, and so on, with less than 60% resulting in a grade of F. Now, in mechanics of materials, most people will get an A or a B if you have the required math prerequisite and you do the required elements. So if I don't really look for a curve, in other words, if everybody gets an A, that would be super. So if we can aim for that, that makes everything really, really nice. But if you just, the way to succeed in this class is to watch all the lectures, do all the homework, and take your midterm and your final on time, and you'll be fine. All of your homework has to be scanned and submitted through Moodle, and I'll show you a little bit about that in just a moment. And I do have a homework template that I'll also show you that shows you how I want your homework to come in. You will be graded on format as well as content. And when everything comes in through Moodle, it's much better because I have everything all in one place. If you email stuff to me, I have a hugely complicated and crowded and cluttered email account. So I can lose it, or I might not find it in time to grade it properly. And it just works so much better if you submit through Moodle. So that will be the requirement for this class. Now, if you don't have access to a scanner, there is a program called Office Lens that you can load onto your phone that will allow you to scan documents on your phone and then email them to me. And I have had students use that for the past year or so with a great deal of success. So if you would like to load Office Lens, it's a free program, and I don't think you'll have any difficulty, but if it doesn't work for you and you need some help, please don't hesitate to call me and I'll help you load that onto your phone. We have some universal syllabi information, which just talks about our ADA statement and our Title IX policies, diversity statement, non-discrimination, and basically Northwest College is committed to diversity and to treating everybody fairly and equitably, so we support that under all instances. And if there's anything that makes you uncomfortable or anything that I could do within the context of an online class to enhance your educational experience, please let me know and I will strive to do that. Now, the last part here, Northwest College course withdrawal procedure. If you do not withdraw, if you just quit coming to class, you'll probably get an F, which is never a good idea. So if you do need to not complete this course, please go through the procedures, drop or withdraw. And once again, I can help you with that as well. I hope none of you have to do that, but sometimes life gets messy, and so I recognize that, and I would like you to be able to drop it, no harm, no foul, and then get to take it at a time in the future when it works better for you. We also have a list of people who can help you with all sorts of different things in your educational experience here, and this is on their names, and phone numbers or contact information are on the syllabus. Additionally to that, you're always welcome to talk to me, and I will point you in the right direction as well. All right, so going back to the course Moodle page, we've just gone over this, the course syllabus. There's nothing in announcements right here, but I do have a homework template. And like I was telling you, the homework that I grade that's worth 20% of your overall grade will be partially dependent on you following this format. So the first thing is I really want you to use engineering comp paper. and this is generally just called the green paper, but it doesn't have to be green. If you have an internship or somebody in your family works for an engineering firm and they use a particular engineering comp paper, that's fine. But the quadrille nature of the paper, the little grid on it, is what's important. At the top on every page you need to put the due date, the course number, which here is ES 2410, and then the chapter, so like chapter 1 homework, chapter 2 homework, and so forth. Then your last name and the first name on every single page, and then this particular page over how many total pages there will be in the homework. Now, obviously you can't fill this out until you're done with the homework, but I want to have that information so that I can orient myself, especially if you are taking more than one class from me. This helps me to keep everything sorted. Now, submitting through Moodle also helps keep me sorted. So between this, which is a good standard operating procedure, and submitting through Moodle, nothing ever goes wrong. So please just follow that format. Now, every single problem, the answer is not sufficient for full credit. But you need to state which problem number it is, 1.1 or whatever the number is. You need to summarize what's written about the problem. In other words, write a shortened version of what the problem is about. Next, you will probably be doing a sketch or a free body diagram. Vector mechanics lends itself very well to free body diagrams. Tell me what theory or principle you use, list any assumptions, and then complete the solution. Your answer then to the proper number of significant figures is equal to a number plus units. And please, like an answer like 7 is never really a good answer, or 7.00000047 if you're only supposed to have 2 or 1 significant figures. But if you're off 1 or 2 significant figures, I don't really get too excited, but just not everything that your calculator says. When you're done with the problem, separate it from the second problem, either by drawing a line or just having a gap, and then write the new problem number and then proceed. And please use this template as a guide for all of your homework. And aside from just this class, this is sort of the way that engineers are expected to present the handwritten components of their work. So if you get used to using this sort of a format, you're going to be much more prepared when you, not only for classes, other classes in engineering college or at university, but also when you leave college or university and get a job. This is the sort of way that your work will be expected to come in. I always tell people it's kind of the equivalent of double-spaced 1-inch margins in an English paper. All right, so if you go down through our Moodle page, you'll see that I've divided it up into sections. The first section is called Statics Review, where we go through the method of joints and the method of sections. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lectures, and the lectures run anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour long. And then I have some additional material, notes, for example. If sometimes when I'm writing a lecture, I will write notes and I'll post them here. Sometimes you can just follow along with the video, but if I have lecture notes, you can use those as well. Then there are just some interesting pictures that sort of demonstrate some of the principles we're talking about. And then at the bottom of each section is a homework submission. So sort of a key word for you is submit. When somebody told me one time it's submit for success. Every time there's a word submit, that's something that you have to turn in. So the first homework will be due Wednesday, September 4th. Although this is an online class, this is not like 100% the same, but I do try to run the schedule the same as our face-to-face classes. Monday, September 2nd is Labor Day, so we will not have, the college will not be open on that day. So I scooted the homework back till September 4th. So then the next one, chapter 1, after you're finished with that and you submit this homework, you'll do chapter 1. There are 4 lectures and then a homework submission of Friday, September 17th, or 13th, pardon me. and then Chapter 2 with a homework submission of September 23rd. Now, here I have a quiz over statics and Chapter 1 and 2. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but quizzes basically are timed elements that supplement your homework, and the main they're open book, open note, but you have to do them in a certain amount of time. And you also have to email your work to me. You have to scan and email your work to me within this certain amount of time. The reason I like to do a couple of quizzes is just to make sure that you understand how to do the work in order to succeed on the exams. Anyway, we'll cover, then we have Chapter 3, which is hidden from the students at this point because this takes us through the first month of school. But I just kind of want to go through this with you. This won't show up on yours, it just shows up on mine. Then Chapter 4, and then we have a little bit of information about the midterm exam. The midterm exam is, generally speaking, it's about October 11th to October 13th. October 13th is a Monday, or October 14th, pardon me. And so sometime in that period of time, if you're here on campus, I'll set a time that's convenient for you to stay with me and take the exam. If you're in the distance, we can either proctor you via Zoom, or we can proctor, there could be another proctor, like if you are going to college at a different institution and you have a teacher or a librarian that or a testing center that's willing to proctor you, we can do it there as well. But anyway, so like I said, we go through Chapter 4, then we have the midterm exam, then we do Chapter 5, which I've misspelled, I will correct that, Chapter 6, and then instead of Chapter 7 and Chapter 8, I have a handout that will be available to you. It's a fairly thick handout, maybe 20 pages, talking about combined loads, stress blocks, and more circle, and then we skip ahead to Chapter 11. So after we finish with Chapter 11, we've really covered all of the material that's required of us in this course. And it looks pretty early that we would be finished with this by Friday, November 22nd. But the following week, November 23rd through December 1st, Northwest College takes the entire week off for Thanksgiving. And then we come back with very little time left because the last day of finals is December 13th. So after we come back, we have essentially 2 calendar weeks. We have 2 5-day weeks to finish up the semester. So I've allocated that to just the final exam, and of course we can use some of that time for catch up if there's something missing, or if we need to review something, we can take care of it at that time as well. All right, so this is the introductory lecture completed for Mechanics of Materials. Some of your takeaways: I hope you'll make sure that you are able to access your Moodle page, that you know that if you need help, you should email me, and that you have an idea of what our assignments will look like, and that you have access to a textbook. So the first assignment then, which will be covered in this section, is going to be due on Wednesday, September 4th, so you can get started on that as soon as you'd like. And you really don't need a textbook to do this. You can do this strictly from the notes that I've prepared for you here. If you have a statics book, you may go back and look at method of joints and method of sections in your statics book for reference, but you should be able to do it from everything here on the page. Beginning with Chapter 1, you will need either the 6th or 7th edition of Mechanics of Materials. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And otherwise, I will look forward to seeing you virtually in class. And happy end of summer, and we're off to a great semester. See you soon.